Prime XBT is the most powerful trading platform offering immediate access to over 30 assets. Trade cryptocurrencies, forex, commodities, stock indices, and much more, all from a single Bitcoin settled account. Visit the link below and start trading on Prime XBT in minutes.
All right, what's up, everyone? So there's something wrong with my my camera here, so I'm just gonna try to figure out what's wrong here. Just give me one minute here, and I will try to restart the webcam. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see. Anyway, it's Monday. Bitcoin is dumping. Well, it's not really dumping. It's not really showing any clear sign. It's actually looking very good. I like, for example, I like this 1 hour candle that we're closing right now. Just give me a minute. Ugh. Right, so the camera is starting. Let's see if my beautiful face can come up on your screen so that you can watch me instead of Bitcoin. Obviously, you probably don't care about my face right now, but I feel like I want to watch myself, so I'd like to have the camera on. All right, so hope you guys are having a great Monday. I'm doing this live on Twitter and YouTube actually, so but obviously I'm not gonna be able to focus on the comments in the YouTube or Twitter. So I'm live for the for the Nest Club, the exclusive Nest Club members, and on Twitter and YouTube. But if you have any questions, ask me in the webinar, the big market webinar for the Nest Club, because with the amount of viewers that we have right now, I'm not going to be able to manage the questions on Twitter and YouTube. So let's start off by taking a look at Bitcoin right here. So, all right, getting some alerts on Euro GBP. I'm gonna take a look at that one too, not that one. Just give me a quick minute here. Need to check that alert. Euro GBP. No, never mind. That's not a good signal. I'm not taking that trade. All right, so Bitcoin here is actually looking quite strong. And what I would like to, well, it's not looking super strong, but I like it, right? And what the fuck's going on now? Give me a minute here. However, I really do like this short right here. I might need to take this. All right, so Euro, I'm getting a new short right here on this one. I'm so sorry, guys, but I'm like, you know, the life of a trader. If you're getting a signal and a good setup, you kind of have to let everything go and kind of check out the signals, right? So Euro is looking a bit bearish right here, especially versus AUD and NCD right here. I'm still in this. I'm currently in this. I will, because of the fact that I'm in this short, I'm obviously not going to enter this one. However, I do like this one. Never mind. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right. So this is the setup, right? And depending on, like, this was the setup that we posted in the Bird Nest. Was it last week? Yeah, last week I think. So I gave you guys some different ideas on where you might want to exit this, right? So in my case, I was looking at a 4-hour open and close below the 4-hour 50 EMA, and that's exactly. Is it me or is he stuck? It's probably you. I'm not stuck. I'm here, man. Very much alive. Wait, am I stuck? No, I'm here. So we got the 4-hour open and close below, which made me close my leverage long, right? I'm still spot long Bitcoin, and I actually bought some more spot on this move down. So I bought some at 30 yesterday before going to bed. I bought some at 36K, and I bought some on, you know, around, I think 34, right? But I closed my leverage longs, which right now looks like a terrible decision, right? But it's all about limiting risk, right? And I was seeing, you know, obviously a clear potential of heading lower, right? So I felt like I need to close my leverage long and instead add some spot exposure to kind of be safe and to limit my downside my exposure if we get a huge dump to the downside, right? Another very interesting thing to note here, so this is the setup, right? And it should probably be invalidated right now. Should probably have exit this one. I do expect that most of you entered this as a leverage long, right? So it, you should have closed. You should have closed 25% here and 25% here, so you should have been 50% out of the position. And I did advise to either use the 50 EMA in the 4 hour as a hard stop, or a 4 hour open and close below the 50 EMA as a invalidation signal, and we have gotten both of those, so you should be out of this one. However, if you're still in this trade right now with a leverage long, I would put my stop loss below these lows right here. Right, so that's that setup. Right, now let's take a look at the bigger picture. Well, I guess there's not really any bigger picture, because honestly I think the daily and the 4 hour here should be viewed as higher time frames. I mean, that sounds weird, but look at the weekly. I mean, there's no way to find any decent support on the weekly right here. I mean, the level below is on the weekly, the first major, or the first support even, is the 18 to 20k area, and I mean, that's, yeah, feels like looking at the yearly or the monthly chart, honestly. So the daily and the 4 hour should be used as the go-to charts in my opinion, right? Because the trend is very clear on the 4 hour, and the support levels are very clear on the 4 hour, right? And I've also written out the RLCs here, and basically, the RLC is just a fancy word for the area between the 786 and the 618, and particularly the 618 is a very important level in trading, at least from my trading styles perspective. I use the 618 very frequently to find confluence with support levels. I like to find confluence with the 618 or the RLC in confluence with, like, for example, the daily 20 EMA. And speaking about the daily 20 EMA, we're gonna add on the moving averages here, and what do you see here? Well, that's the wrong one, that's the daily. Right, so you see the yellow right here, the yellow 20 EMA on the daily, right in the middle of the RLC, the long RLC, and we hit that 20 EMA just beautifully, perfectly, right? And we're now getting bought up quite aggressively right here. Looking at the 4 hour, very nice candle here on the 4 hour, but important to remember is that we're actually not. Yep, this is a long. God damn it, I got into this. Sorry guys, I got into this. Right, so clear runway to the left. I like that. I like that. I like that. Is it really? Oh man. Right, so AUD. Am I in any AUD long at the moment? Go check that out. Sorry for the interruption here, but I'm getting these alerts about once every 4 hours, and if there's gonna be like 1 or 2 good alerts every day, so I need to, if I see something that's actually looking quite good, I need to take it. Holy shit, everything's just popping off right now. Usually around this time I'm getting a lot of alerts in the forex market. Just give me a quick minute here. AUD, GBP, I'm short GBP versus AUD. Doesn't make sense to go long on this. I'm gonna put an alert instead. I'm gonna put an alert right here, and I'm gonna put an alert down here, because I don't really have time for you right now. Right, so Bitcoin is looking good, but it's important to remember here that we're in a downtrend on the hourly. We're in a quite clear downtrend on the hourly right here, and as you can see, I'm gonna put my alert right above here. So we're right now testing the 200 simple and the 200 EMA on the hourly. We haven't really traded below the 200 and 200 EMA, and especially not in this market structure right here, or this local market structure. We haven't really traded below these levels since we broke above the 18 to 20k area. So we're definitely seeing a change in behavior here, both on the hourly and the 4 hour, right? But what we're not really seeing, where we're not seeing a change in behavior, is the daily, and that's very important for me, right? The fact that we are bouncing up to 20 EMA in the daily, and the 20 EMA in the daily being confluent with the long RLC of this latest up move is very important to me, and I would definitely view that bounce as a greater a greater reason to be bullish, right? But we need to see some confirmation on the lower time frames, right? And especially the 1 hour. I'm not even gonna look at the 50-minute. I'm gonna look at the 50-minute, but I'm not gonna look at it. The 1 hour is where it's at, right? And we're watching right now a bearish market structure, right? Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? If this bounce of the daily 21 EMA is the bounce to be bought, and then we want to see the 200 simple and the 200 EMA on. God damn it! Feels like this was the perfect time to do a webinar. I'm gonna be missing out a lot of trades, but I don't care. This is more important, right? So you can kind of see how this level right here is a important SR level on the 1 hour. It's where we had a decent SR flip right here, and it's also where we are seeing an SR flip in the opposite direction right now, right? So obviously we need to break this local bearish market structure, right? Which would mean reclaiming this level on a 1 hour time frame basis, or whatever you want to call it, right? So a break and retest of this level would invalidate the current bearish market structure on the hourly, and would also confirm the, in my opinion, the 20 EMA on a daily bounce, and it would also confirm a higher low on the 4 hour. However, we're not, I mean, it's easy to, if you look at bearish signs, you're going to be finding bearish signs. And if you look at it all over the place, you're going to find a lot of bearish signs. So it's important to really know your bias, know your time frame, know where you're making the plans, and following the plans on that time frame where you're actually making the plans. You can't go around, you know, looking at the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the hourly, the 50-minute, and the 5-minute, finding confidences, because there's always most likely going to be signs of, you know, price going the other way on the lower time frames if you're watching the higher time frames. So you got to stick to your idea, right? You can't just look at all time frames and use a lot of different techniques and analysis, because you're most likely going to run into what's called a, you know, analysis paralysis, I think it's called, right? Where you're just basically doing too much TA, and the TA is just showing you a lot of different signs and you're not really sure what to do. So I'd like to keep it simple, right? That's why I'm not looking at the 50-minute right now, and I'm trying not to look too much on the hourly. I'm trying to look more on the 4 hour or the daily, right? That's what I'm watching. And I feel like I want, there's so much more I want to say, but it's probably like, it's the best advice would just be to watch current price structure and keep it simple, right? I want to show you something else here. Let's look at the clean shot. Let's remove everything here. And we're going to be looking at the two last RC moves. Is that even a word? I don't know. It's not one word. It's, oh man. So yeah, right. So we're gonna look at the every 4 hour impulse move to the upside, or whatever you want to call it, right? So we're gonna add, and the two most important ones are going to be this one and this one, right? And if we add, where's the settings on this one? Weird. So put the RLC on this one, and we're then going to put the RLC on this move right here. So that's gonna be the first one, and this is gonna be the second one, obviously. And as you can see here, we had a, you know, looking at this structure right here, it's really following the same trend, really, right? We're obviously losing the EMAs. So in terms, or in relationship to the 4 hour EMAs, we have broken the trend, but you can't just go only off the, you know, off the moving averages. You have to also take into consideration price action, right? Because price action in my book is above everything else, right? So I'm only using the indicators, I'm only using the fibs and the moving averages as confirmation of price action. I'm always going to focus first and foremost on price action. And if you remove the EMAs right here, you will see that price action is definitely bullish, right? We are in an uptrend. We bounced beautifully off this long RLC right here, and we bounced beautifully off this long RLC right here. And if you add the daily 20 EMA right here, you will see that we front ran the daily 21 EMA or the 20 EMA right here, and we kind of call that I would basically call that a retest, but a retest, you know, the level getting front ran, right? And the second time we hit the long RLC, we bounced beautifully, perfectly off the daily 20 EMA. So from a 4-hour perspective and taking into consideration the daily moving averages, I'm not really seeing any clear signs of a higher time frame correction happening anytime soon. And I mean, you gotta understand that this move was actually 20, you know, about 20 to 25% move to the downside, which is quite big, right? So I mean, it definitely makes sense if this were the dip to be bought, right? It definitely makes sense, but we need to really look at the price structure and price action on the hourly to really confirm this, right? Because like I've said, this level right here below, between, you know, where we had the previous breakout and SR flip on this move up, we kind of need to reclaim that structure once again. And I would probably view that as, yeah, it's a big area, so I'm not sure, but probably, you know, roughly this area right here. Obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, there's no exact numbers, we're just looking at the structure of price and how is price going to react to this level on the SR flip. Now if we can't flip this to support, obviously we're most likely going lower, right? And if we're going to lower, the level I'm going to be looking at, it's the daily 50 EMA, right? So down here we have the daily 50 EMA, and if, you know, we got the daily 50 EMA right here, the 20, so lose 20, and we're most likely going to come down and test the 50 EMA on a daily. And I kind of like how it's confluent with this structure right here, right? I'll lose that one, and we're most likely going down to the, you know, the high time frame breakout area, which on the weekly is going to be this level right here, right? The area between the, you know, 18 to 20k area. Now hopefully that makes sense to everyone, and to give just a quick summary of what I'm watching, this bounce looks very good, but we need to reclaim this level right here for me to add some leverage to this. Well, it's a question. Do we need to see any? Do we need to see the 4-hour candle close above the 50 MA to remain bullish short term 4-hour? Well, we don't need to see that, but because of the fact that the 50 EMA in the 4-hour is confluent with this level that we're looking at in terms of an SR flip, then yeah, I would like to see a 4-hour close above, right? So a 4-hour close above, let's say a 4-hour close above 37k, and then a 1-hour rounded retest of that level, or just a breakout on the hourly, something like that, just a break in market structure on the hourly with a reclaim of the 4-hour 50 EMA. That would be the first sign of this being the bottom, and in that case I think it would make sense to add some leverage and use the long RLC as your invalidation level. You remember that, I mean, the 32k area looks like great support, and hopefully we just front ran that by touching the daily 20 EMA. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions on this. We're gonna look at the the strength of the dollar, because I do think that the strength of the dollar is having some effect on this. By the way, guys, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, and you're not members of the Bird Nest, go check it out, thebirdnest.com/free trial. You can or just go to thebirdnest.com and you will have a big fat button that says button that says free trial, join now, something. Check it out. We're doing these webinars every day of the week. We're doing these webinars Monday to Sunday, and I'm doing the webinars, I think 3 or 4 times every week, and we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're doing market scans, basically everything. So if you're interested in that, check it out for free. You can join for free for 1 week and get to watch all the webinars for free. And of course, you're going to be able to watch the replays too. Right, the Dixit. We're going to look at the Dixit, the DXY. Stop it. Yeah. Nope. Right, so let's look at the Dix here. You know, I got something interesting to show you. I'm not sure if you guys remember. What's this? That's a totally different chart. Right. And ah, shit, look at that. Holy goddamn. Looks like gold died. Right, so looking at the XY here. I remember, you know, back when we were trading in this range right here, we were talking about how, you know, if we break this range to the downside, we're most likely going to see a move down to the 90 area, right? And we got just that. And right now, the DXY is showing some strong, strong potential bullish market structure, right? And as you can see here, it's a very clear level right here. It's a very clear level right here. So we're gonna add that right in, something like this, right? Sounds like my son might be on his way down to the office. Sounds like he's, I don't know what the hell he's doing up there. So I might have to just take a 2-minute break. Yeah, so this level, you know, reclaiming this level and continuing to move upwards would most likely not be good for Bitcoin, because we have seen Bitcoin and we obviously have seen Bitcoin have a negative correlation to the dollar, right? So we're showing some strength here on the dollar, which means that if this continues, Bitcoin will most likely, you know, maybe start ranging or show some weakness. But we can't really only go off the strength of the dollar to you know, we can't judge Bitcoin strength by only the weakness of the dollar, right? We need to look at Bitcoin's price action too, so we need to really get the confirmation, right? So right now it looks like we're getting rejected of this level right here, which is the 4-hour 50 EMA, and with the dollar actually about to probably break out here, that's probably going to mean Bitcoin moves lower, right? That's what I'm thinking, at least. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Now let's take a look at the let's see if we can find any. Let's see. Right, so let's see how the dollar pairs. Obviously, the Euro USD chart is looking very bearish right here, right? Not really this, well, not very bearish, right? But we could most likely see a move down to so basically what I'm doing now is I try to see if I can see clear bearish market structure forming on maybe all the USD pairs in the forex market, at least the majors and the minors. That's probably going to mean that we have some upside potential going on the dollar, right? And well, not bearish market structure. I mean obviously Euro USD is going to show, you know what I mean. So if that's the case, we might start to prepare for some more downside on Bitcoin, right? So we got Euro USD. What else do we have here? AUD USD. Not really. Not ready to. I mean that's an obvious level right here. Not looking that weak, but obviously getting some potential downside, right? What else do we have? We have GBP USD. Still in a pretty nice uptrend right here, and we're actually retesting the last major highs. You gotta remember, guys, like I can look at Ethereum, I can look at Litecoin and everything, but all you need to really care about is Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is really controlling the market right now, and sure, I can take a look at Ethereum, but it's pretty much the same thing, right? So yeah. Let me see if I can find the right chart. So I mean, Ethereum is most likely showing the same stuff here as Bitcoin, right? So probably a good support level, but needs to reclaim bullish market structure on the 1 hour. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Same thing on Ethereum, right? We need to see a reclaim of this level complement with 4 hour 50 EMA. We need to see a rounded retest most likely on the hourly. Right now it looks alright, but it's not really showing the I mean, this could very well be a bearish reaction, right? Or just a bearish retest. It's kind of like looks the same as Bitcoin. So follow, I'd say follow Bitcoin. That's all I have to say. Now let's go back and take a quick look at the USDT pairs. Right, so GBP bearish versus USD, NCD bearish versus USD, but still in a very clear uptrend. So we're not really right. So the same thing goes for LTC, right? Same thing goes for LTC, most likely. Yeah, it's exactly the same market structure, right? So you just have to follow Bitcoin, right? LTC bouncing off a nice support right here, and we got on the hourly. Yeah, I'm not gonna take a look at Bitcoin again. You're gonna have to watch the replay for my analysis on Bitcoin. We might go back and look at Bitcoin again, because this I think in this stream is gonna be around Bitcoin, obviously, but you're gonna have to watch the replay if you want to have a more detailed analysis on Bitcoin. So Litecoin, yeah, I guess needs to reclaim this level, or even, yeah, I don't know, maybe even. Well, looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, I think Litecoin is showing a bit more weakness compared to the other ones, but still, it's all about Bitcoin right here. We need to, Bitcoin is where it's at right now. So yeah, so exactly, we got major. That's probably going to be a major news event, right? The Chairman Powell speaking, and so what I would advise, I mean, usually when trading the forex market, I'm not gonna trade any USDT pairs, or I always say USDT, but it's USD. I'm not gonna trade any USD pairs in the forex market, most likely today or tomorrow. I don't know, maybe if I see a very obvious setup, I can enter it today and then limit my stop or limit my exposure tomorrow during the major news event, as that should be. And you gotta realize that Bitcoin is also a currency, right? It's a digital currency and it's trading against the USD, which means that it doesn't make sense to trade it versus the USD. Well, at least not. I would at least not open any new positions during the speech, right? Because it's just going to be very volatile most likely, and it could use dump crazy, right? So I would be, I would be careful. We had a question in the chat, but it disappeared. I don't know why. So, guys, you gotta ask all the questions you want. There's no dumb questions. There's no stupid questions. Like we've all been new in this game, and yeah, here we go. Right, so we sell a 4-hour close under the resistance, or need any confirmation on low time frames. Well, right. So first of all, I'm not gonna be able to tell you guys what to do. Right, you guys need to use this analysis and make up your own plan. Like you're not gonna be able to make any money if you're only gonna be following what I tell you to do. That's probably most likely gonna lose you money, because I might tell you like I want to do this and this, and then I see on the hourly that it's obviously showing a whole different idea that I was looking at. So you can't just following exactly what I'm saying, right? Because maybe I say that, all right, so we're gonna buy whenever we see a reclaim of this level right here, but then the market structure might change drastically 20 minutes after I say that, and I'm gonna exit or enter, and I'm not gonna have the time to alert you all in the Discord server. So it's important that you take what I'm telling you and adding your own TA and your own knowledge to that. All right, so we're getting way more viewers on Twitter right now, so welcome everyone from Twitter. And if you don't know about the Bird Nest, definitely check out thebirdnest.com. You can join for free when we're actually doing these webinars every day of the week, and you can join for free now for a week, so you can check out all the webinars and also check the replays. So definitely check that out if you're interested in this type of analysis every day. All right, so newbie question. All right, let's see. Yes, so then this is a very important question, right? The question is, Bitcoin controls the market, right? In crypto, Bitcoin is king, right? So whatever Bitcoin does, everything else will be affected by that, right? So if you're trading altcoins, of course, let's say we've had a lot of alts versus USDT setups in the last couple of days, right? And when Bitcoin dumps, most likely the altcoin setups versus USDT will also dump and take out the stop loss most likely. And that's what happened, right? We had a lot of setups and most of them got stopped out, but that's just the nature of trading, and especially that's the nature of trading crypto. So it's extremely, extremely, extremely important that you understand the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins. So I think this is a very good question. So I figured that we're gonna dive deep into this question, and I'm really gonna show you guys how you should approach the altcoin market with relationship to Bitcoin's price actions. So first of all, you should absolutely limit your or calculate your positions in such a way that if Bitcoin moves very bullishly or bearishly, you gotta get ready to get stopped out on the altcoins as soon as Bitcoin dumps or pumps, depending on if you're in short or longs, or if you're in altcoin versus USDT or Bitcoin, right? So the way I like to do it is I'd like to stay in a smaller amount of altcoin trades at a time, and preferably only 1 or 2, but I have my max limit at 4 altcoin positions at any given time, and I have my limit at 4% risk open in the market at any given time, which means that if I have 4 open positions and I haven't moved the stop loss on those, it means that I put my risk on each of these setups will be 1%. So I will only risk 1% on each position, right? And it's important to view all your altcoin positions as one combined bag of risk, right? Because when Bitcoin moves, you're most likely going to get stopped out on those setups. That's just the way the market moves, right? That's the way crypto works. So you can't be trading altcoins independently. You need to watch the BTC USD chart, and you need to watch the BTC dominance chart. And we're going to look at the BTC dominance chart in just a minute, but you really need to realize that when trading altcoins, you absolutely need to first decide how much are you willing to lose if all of these altcoin setups will get stopped out, because they will get stopped out if Bitcoin moves. You've seen it over and over and over again. What happens is you will have altcoin windows opening, right? And when Bitcoin is moving bullishly, when Bitcoin is breaking out, the trades are in alts versus USDT, because altcoins versus USDT will most likely follow Bitcoin up. So you want to add exposure to altcoins versus USDT, right? We have not really seen altcoin versus BTC performing that well on this up move, but we're most likely going to see that if Bitcoin starts a high time frame to medium time frame range right here, or if we're going to see a slow bleed in altcoin versus BTC is where it's at. But it's the exactly same thing when trading altcoins versus BTC, right? You have to limit your exposure to altcoins because it's just a matter of one impulsive move for Bitcoin, and your altcoins are most likely going to get stopped out. So if you're okay with losing, let's say you're okay with losing 1K on the current open altcoin positions, right? Obviously, you have to make sure to calculate the positions in such a way that if all altcoin position gets stopped out, you're gonna lose only 1K, right? Now, with that said, if you are in 4 active open altcoin positions and they all hit TP1 or TP2, you can then move your stop loss to entry, right? That means you are in 4 free positions and you have 0 risk in the market, which means you can then enter more altcoin positions and you can increase your risk, right? So what will happen then is the stop loss will get hit and you will only lose money on the ones that you haven't moved your stop loss on, and you still have the free positions, right? So it's very, very important to be very active with your risk management and your risk and your trade management, right? So that's kind of like how I approach the altcoin market, and I only trade altcoins when there's actually potential for altcoins to run. Is there potential for altcoins to run right now when Bitcoin looks like this? Of course there is, but I'm more inclined to be a bit careful here. And if trading altcoins versus USDT, we need to look for strength in Bitcoin. If trading altcoins versus BTC, we need to see weakness from the BTC dominance right here. Right now, the BTC dominance is ranging between this level right here and this level right here. Any break of this level, if we break it to the downside, we're most likely going to see an altcoin window, or some people like to call it an altcoin season, but it's probably only going to hold for a couple of days to a week or two, right? So in my opinion, it's not really an altcoin season. And if we break out, we're most likely going to break out, and this is going to be very bad for altcoins versus versus BTC. This is going to be very good for altcoins versus BTC. So this low right here, breaking to the downside, that's going to be the first sign of entering altcoins versus BTC. And the way I like to do it is I like to first wait for the BTC dominance to break down and then show a bearish reaction. I would then wait for altcoins to actually start running. I'd like to see maybe 4 or 5 altcoins really confirm bullish market structure and pump. I'm then going to look for in the next couple of days after that, I'm going to look for coins that are about to show the same structure that the ones that have already pumped are showing, right? And you got to be mindful that the altcoin window, I mean this move right here took 14 days, right? So you gotta remember that the altcoin window might only be open for 14 days, right? And 14 days. So, and the first week, you might only be scanning the market and waiting for setups to form, which means that you only have maybe even a couple of days to be in the trade, right? If it's only a short-term altcoin window opening. However, if we see this move, right, that's more like an alt season, right? And what you do is you increase your risk on this breakdown, you decrease your risk on this bounce, and you then increase your risk again on this breakdown, right? And you do that by limiting your exposure to altcoins by moving up the stop loss. If you're in profit here, maybe getting stopped out here on a bounce and then entering again on a retest. It's all about risk management, really. It's all about how much are you willing to lose on all the altcoins together as one combined bag of risk. All right. Hopefully that answers that. I know that I've done a webinar on this already in the webinar sessions channel, so you can probably go to that channel in the Discord and search for altcoin risk or something like that. Maybe it's even on the website too in your membership profile page. And you can see a webinar I've done on altcoin risk and how to manage that when trading altcoins and how to prepare for the for a potential altcoin window or an altcoin season. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin again, and let's see if we have any more questions. Should I sell 50% of my portfolio right now or hold and literally hope for a recovery? The current charts tell me Bitcoin is going to bleed even more before recovering. All right, so if you think Bitcoin is going to bleed more, then of course you should sell. That's logical, right? I'm not going to be able to tell you what to do. It's very important to remember that I'm not going to be able, unless you're my private student and I know exactly like your situation, your portfolio, your preferred risk and all that. I'm not going to be able to tell you exactly what to do. But if you think Bitcoin is going down, of course it makes sense to sell. Do I think Bitcoin is going down right here? Well, it looks likely, but I'm still exposed to spot BTC. I've closed my leverage longs. So I'm not in any long position right now. If we continue to move lower, and we continue to move lower on this 1 hour trend, and we fail to reclaim the 50 EMA, I might start to average out of my Bitcoin with the idea of buying back lower, right? About alt exposure, you mean spot too? Yeah. So of course, well, I can't really answer the question of long-term alt positions because I don't really trade long-term. I don't hold any altcoins long-term. I think the only asset that I hold long-term is Bitcoin because I think that's the only asset in crypto that's worth holding altcoin long-term. I mean, and Bitcoin is really, I guess Bitcoin and Ethereum is really, in my opinion, the only two assets in crypto that has, in my opinion, solid fundamentals that have a proven have something really proven and works. And I really don't hold any altcoin for a long run because, I mean, if you hold an altcoin for the long term, you're gonna get ready to lose like 99% of your value. That's not worth it for me, right? But if you hold altcoins for the long run, obviously that's not gonna apply the same risk management and trade management that I've been talking about in terms of the BTC dominance and the BTC short and the risk management that I talked about in terms of altcoins. That's not really going to apply on the long-term holds for altcoins because most likely the altcoin windows that are opening and closing is going to be moves that could be bearish moves on the 4 hour or the daily, but could still be in a bullish trend on the weekly, right? So if you're holding altcoins for the long run, maybe you're watching or preparing or planning your trades on the weekly and the daily, and an altcoin window, a bearish or bullish one, could be inside one of those weekly candles, so it might not even be showing on your analysis on the long term, right? If I bought altcoins versus USDT pairs, is it ever a good idea to sell alts on the BTC pair? Yeah, well, I guess yes. If you hold a lot of altcoins and you want to buy Bitcoin, obviously it makes sense to sell the altcoin to Bitcoin and use the BTC pairing to do that. What about the BTC dominance? It's going lower, and it's just if I'm on Ethereum spot, is it worth to hold? I mean, if Ethereum BTC, the price of Ethereum will rise too. Well, that's not necessarily the case, right? Just because Ethereum versus USDT is rising does not mean Ethereum versus BTC will rise. It's most likely doing that right now, but it's not a given, right? It's not always going to be like that. Let's take a look at Ethereum versus BTC. Yeah, so Ethereum versus BTC is actually showing some great market structure right here. Some really strong market structure. You guys remember I've posted a while back on Twitter this setup right here, and this is obviously a long-term position on Ethereum versus BTC. Right, you all already got your answer. Right. But it's looking very strong here. Looking very strong. Ethereum versus BTC is probably looking stronger right now than Ethereum USDT, and I think that if Bitcoin is gonna start a slow bleed to the downside, that means that altcoins have a potential to outperform Bitcoin, right? And that's when we see altcoins running, right? So when Bitcoin is ranging or showing signs of weakness, then altcoins might outperform Bitcoin, right? And that's why you buy altcoins and short Bitcoin, because you gotta remember that when you buy, for example, when you buy Ethereum versus Bitcoin, you are shorting Bitcoin and longing Ethereum. So when you're buying altcoins versus Bitcoin, you need to realize that you're actually shorting Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is very strong, it makes no sense to buy altcoin versus Bitcoin, because it makes no sense to short Bitcoin in a very bullish uptrend, right? If that makes sense. That's how I watch it, and that's how I trade, right? And other people might have other opinions on that, or trade it other ways. Most likely if they're more investment type of traders, or long-term holders. But that's pretty much the way I look at it. So let's actually take a look at the BTC on the lower time frames, and after that we're gonna do a quick recap of what I'm watching for Bitcoin. Right, so let's remove all of this. All right, so this is the range for the BTC dominance. And there's been a lot of discussions about if traditional TA is valid on the BTC dominance chart, because it's not tradable, right? So it doesn't make sense to use TA, and I would say it absolutely 100% makes sense. A lot of people will probably not agree with me on that, but it makes absolutely 100% sense to use TA, because it works, right? So this is the range, right? And we got the range EQ area right here. Yes, I got my son outside the office singing some weird animal song. Right, so we got the range EQ here, and we're obviously, tested the range high here, broke range EQ to the downside, had a bearish retest of range EQ, and we're most likely going to come down and test the range lows right here. If Bitcoin is going to range or show weakness, we're most likely going to break this range to the downside. I'm going to put an alert right here, because that's going to alert me that we had the first sign of an altcoin window opening, and that means basically the first sign of an altcoin window opening means that we should look at entering altcoins versus BTC, right? But we gotta be very careful, because Bitcoin can pump. I'm not really feeling it right now, but it can, right? So that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's do a quick recap on Bitcoin here. So where do we have the clean shot right here? Right, so quick recap on Bitcoin, what I'm thinking about Bitcoin, what levels I'm looking at before we end the webinar. Right, so let's look at the, let's do a top-down analysis. Let's look at the weekly, then the daily, the 4-hour, and the hourly. Right, so this is the weekly. Pretty insane, if you ask me. Pretty insane. So this, we have this level right here as the major extremely high time frame support, because this should be viewed as extremely high time frame, because I view the 4-hour and the daily as the high time frame. This is more like looking at the monthly or the yearly right now, honestly. And we have this level down here. How likely is it that we're gonna come down and test the 18 to 20k area? I don't think it's very likely. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's very likely. It's just, I don't think it's very likely. We do, however, have the 20 EMA on the weekly right here, which is a very important important level. So if we come down and test this level in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna look at a strong bounce at the 20 EMA on the weekly. But this is so far down. It's a 40 to 50% move to the downside. So we're obviously not gonna be able to talk about that dump right now. We have a lot of levels on the daily and the 4-hour before that happens, right? What I want to do here is I want to add the fibs of this move right here to see if we can find any decent levels. Right, so we obviously have some very interesting comp plans right here, and the most important comp plans right here is the 618, right? You guys remember in the beginning of the webinar I talked about the long RLC and how I like to use the 618 in my analysis, and I like to look at the high time frame 618 as the probable area for a bounce, right? So the fact that we have the actually we could change this to the fact that we have the 20 EMA right above the 618 and between the 618 and the 50 makes me think that this is obviously going to be a very strong high time frame support level, right? We also have the 382 right here, and we're going to go down into the daily and look at the area around the 382, because that's most likely going to act as strong support. And I can see that we have a strong support right there on the chart already. Looking at the daily, yeah, so we have the 50 EMA on the daily, confluent with that blue box right here, confluent with the high time frame 382 Fibonacci retracement level. I like that. Maybe we have the 4-hour 100 too, something like that. Yeah, so we have the 4-hour 200 EMA and the 200 simple right down here around the 382 I don't know. And if you, let's look at the daily right here. Another thing I'm thinking is we can try to measure the fibs using we view this as the impulsive breakout move, so we should use that low to that high. That brings in the, would be pretty cool if we can get some fib confluence right there. It's probably not going to be the RLC, but if it's the 618, that's going to be great. Yeah, look at that. So we have the 618 down there too. Now that's what I like to call fib confluence, and when you have that type of fib confluence with the 382 of the major high time frame fib, and of course the 618 of the medium time frame fib, that's going to be obviously a quite good sign of this acting as strong support. Go to the 4-hour and you will also see again that it's the 200 EMA, and right above you have the 200 the 200 simple and the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, and on the daily you have the 50 EMA. So a lot of confluences in that level, which makes me think that if we lose current levels, if we lose the current you also see that the The 382 right here is also complemented with the high time frame 236, which adds some strong complements, and it's also the 618 right and the 200 EMA. So the same type of complements that we have here, we also have down here, which makes me think that if we lose this area, we're most likely going to get a heavy bounce down here. And of course, then we have the high time frame breakout level down here, which is the area where we have the weekly 20 EMA right here. So that's the three levels of great importance. And I would think that we would look at, you know, right now I really like this bounce. I really like this bounce of the 20 EMA daily. But let's say that the you get the Fed policy speaks tomorrow, and let's say that there's just going to come out some very bullish news for the USD, and we're going to see USD pairs show bullish market structure, and the DIX is going to pump. We most likely have to look at the 27 area for a bounce on Bitcoin, which is down here. If this trend is going to continue, if the trend of, you know, if the bearish trend of Bitcoin is going to continue, obviously we're going to start looking at the 18 to 20k, but I'm not ready to call those targets just yet. That's quite far down. Even if it's a very strong support, I am still spot long on Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm thinking we might have another push to the upside, right? Or, you know, up to maybe even as high as 40. Well, at least, you know, 50k, not out of the question. Maybe a last push up to 50k, and if we get that, this is going to be a beautiful shakeout move, right? And especially if we come down to this level right here, and the volatility on Bitcoin now is just crazy, right? The volatility is just extreme, which means that it's very important that you guys are not over leveraged, right? And when you buy Bitcoin, when you position yourself as a buyer on Bitcoin, it's important that you calculate your positions so that you would be okay with losing a fairly large part of that position. And, you know, for example, if you're a Bitcoin holder and you're not going to sell unless, you know, a couple of years, you got to be okay with losing 50% of your current holdings if you're going to hold Bitcoin. So if you're going to hold Bitcoin, you need to prepare to see your P&L at minus 50%, right? That's very important. Now, I'm most likely not going to sell my spot BTC. I'm going to be averaging down to the 18 to 20k area. I'm, however, not going to add any leverage longs unless we actually see that bullish market structure forming on the hourly or the 4 hour, and I've talked about that, and that's basically this level right here. The blue box around 36k, which is complemented with the 0.236 of the medium, no, the high time frame fib, not the medium time frame fib. Right, I think I'm done for today. I would like to thank you all for joining today. I think this was a great webinar, and I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what I'm watching for Bitcoin. Now, it's very important that you guys realize that what the information that I've given you today is not, you're not supposed to go solely on that. You're not supposed to follow my analysis, right? You're not supposed to do the exact things that I'm doing. The idea of having these webinars and the idea of kind of sharing with you my thoughts on Bitcoin is you're supposed to look at your own analysis, right? And you're supposed to find confluence with your own analysis and my analysis. And if you see something that I say that you think makes sense, but it goes against your own analysis, I recommend sticking with your own analysis, because if you start changing your own plans and your own analysis because of me, you're most likely not really going to understand why it failed, right? And you need to really, you know, analyze your ideas before taking the trade and after taking the trade. You need to review your trades and really understand what went wrong so that you can improve going forward. You need to see, like, where did you fail, where did you succeed, and that kind of stuff, right? And if you only follow me, you're not really sure, you might not be sure what went wrong, right? But if you follow your own analysis and only take parts of my analysis into your own, it's going to be much easier for you to review your trades and look at what went wrong, right? And you can then in the review process use my analysis as a tool to see if, you know, maybe if I added that part of his analysis, maybe that would have been, you know, would have meant that that trade would have been a winner. So next trade or next opportunity, you might apply that analysis to your own analysis, right? So there's a saying, I don't know if it's a saying, but you guys have read the Market Wizards book. Mark Swagger, I think his name is, right? It talks about how a lot of the biggest traders, like a lot of the interviews that he has done, most of the traders say that, you know, if you follow other people's ideas, you're only most likely going to get the bad out of those ideas, right? But if you follow your own ideas, you're going to get both the bad and the good, right? Which is going to make it much easier to review and analyze after the trade has been played out. All right, so it's time for me to get some lunch. Again, thank you all for joining. If you have any short questions before I leave, feel free to ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow evening, most likely. And if you're not in the Bird Nest already and you want to watch that webinar tomorrow, go to birdnest.com, sign up for the free trial, and you'll gain access to the webinar tomorrow, and as well as this replay from today. All right, take care everyone, and see you tomorrow. Wait a minute, there's a lot of weird. There's a lot of questions that I forgot about. Holy shit! All right, so I think I need to get through this. All right, take just 1 minute. Tether problems. I don't really see a problem with Tether, but I would recommend you divide your holdings of USD up into different stablecoins. The 3 stablecoins that I do recommend is USDT, USDC, and TUSD. I would divide them up into equal parts. Let's see, what else? What else? If I'm new to leverage trading, would you recommend checking out co-vesting? Well, I think co-vesting on PrimeXP is a great tool, definitely to have and to try it, right? I think it's a great tool, but it's not trading. It's not leverage trading. It's I don't know much about BUSD, so I can't really comment on that. Anyway, so co-vesting is just copy trading, right? And we have some great articles on co-vesting in the Bird Nest. Definitely check those out if you're interested. Right. Do you have a stop loss on your spot position? No, I don't have a stop loss on my spot position. I will exit on, you know, because I've calculated my position so that I'm okay with losing quite a lot % of that capital. I use alerts and will exit on bearish market structure instead. What do you think for scalp calls? I think you should stay away from scalp calls if you have to ask questions about scalp calls. All right, that's it. Take care, guys. See you guys next time.